So we're set there. I have Don Mapes set. He's an attendee. I'm going to move him over as a panelist. Here he comes.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the monthly meeting of the Kingston Police Commission. Today is March 16th, 2022. And I'd like to officially call this meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded and is also streaming live on the City of Kingston YouTube channel. So again, thanks to all of our commissioners for joining us. Today we have Commissioner Jordan, Commissioner Mapes, and Commissioner Bowden. Thank you all for joining. Also want to recognize Deputy Chief Bonds and Chief Egidio Tinti. Thank you for all the work you guys are doing. We are going to go through our agenda today. And first, I'd like to see if we have any public comments. At this point, we didn't have anyone prearranged that I'm aware of to speak today. But are there any written comments that we've received at this point? I don't believe so, but.
Well, we actually did. We have one that the chief sent out today. Right, Chief, you had that, right? And then there was a couple more that a lot of their correspondences were actually looking for records from the police department. We had a couple of those, I think, looking for information. The chief got back to them. But then today we had one that was thanking our officers, Darren Dawson, right? And if I remember correctly, do you have that, Chief? I can pull it up if you like.
Yeah, no, it was, we actually had two compliments come through the webpage. And both of them for, actually there were three total for the month. Two of them were directed to the SROs, Darren Dawson and Mike Peterson, for the work that they're doing up at the school. And the other one was for Brian Aiken. He handled a hit and run accident on that as well. And that first form wasn't actually completed. I had to look up the call, but essentially he was the responding officer to a hit and run where the caller said somebody hit my car and took off. And Brian showed up, got the information, and within minutes was able to track the vehicle down and close out the accident report. It did come in as a hit and run, but he did a very, very quick job on that. So the person who contacted us through the web page was very appreciative of the hard work of the officers.
Yeah, great. Yeah, well, thank you for that. And yes, and so those are now in the record. Thanks, Brad, for mentioning those.
Chief, how is that listed for someone who wants to make a compliment like that? It seems like they were originally using the complaint form. I wonder if we shouldn't put another form on there.
Well, we did. Yeah,
okay.
We actually, so what we did was on the form, it's actually a compliment and complaint form. And so they can choose, choose whether it's a compliment or a complaint.
Perfect.
Yeah, well, I'll fully admit the first time I saw it, I initially thought it's a complaint, but until you read the little heading on it, it says compliment on it. And yeah, the first one especially didn't have much information on it at all.
Yes,
Brian Aiken and compliment. So, but always good to get those. Always.
And so next, because we don't have any public comments, I'd like a motion to dispense with reading of the last minutes, which is actually a video from our last meeting. So do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
All right, second. And second was, all right, so first was Commissioner Mapes, second was Commissioner Jordan. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, well, great, thank you, everybody.
So going forward, though, we're not really dispensing of the reading, we're just accepting the video as the minutes.
Right.
Which makes sense, and that was good. I was glad if that's legal, that's perfect, and we'll just have the minutes on YouTube.
Yes, and so we're actually able to, use, and the technology that we are using also allows for them to be transcribed, which is great. And so Zoom is really good at that. It's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty darn close. And YouTube also allows people to have closed captioning, which is also helpful too. So
I started playing around with it a little bit and making that playlist So as the meetings happen, I kind of put the thumb down and little geek.
And so we talked a little bit already about communications that we've received that Brad mentioned related to the compliments. But are there any other communications either from the secretary or from the chief at this point? I don't believe so. I think we covered those all during the public comments. And so, Chief, do you want to give us a report on how things have been going in the last month?
Yeah, we can start with personnel. The latest 4 hires started, and they came in for training. They're out on the field training program. We hope to get them out on their own as soon as they complete it. One of them still would have to complete the phase 2 portion, but they are going to be out and about since they completed pre-employment. So all of them qualified and moving forward. We're still holding on one until we get additional paperwork completed, but it looks good. All of them have served in some capacity before, so it's going to make the field training program, especially now with the number of people we have. I mean, Mike, what's the current number we're at for FTO rotation? 9?
Yeah, 9.
9 people. So it's a lot. This is probably the first time this has ever happened, at least in my career, to see it. So we're using FTOs. We've sent them to school. It's a lot. It's a lot, but we're getting it done. So. Yeah, the other report I think we should mention, and we don't really mention it enough, I think, is at least monthly we attend a community meeting. We've been calling them community meetings. Alderwoman Rita Worthington is there. There's a few members of the community. State police has representation. The sheriff's office has representation. And we go, we listen, we talk, we provide information, and we take back feedback. And so far, so good. There's been some good discussions, and I think we continue to do so. And a lot of times it's more of a question answer and explanation about it. I mean, the one time was use of force. There's always questions about whether they saw something on TV or video somewheres, and we have the opportunity to kind of explain what that's all about. So, Mike, if you want to add anything more to that, I think it pretty much covers it.
Yeah, no, the community meeting was great. We had multiple agencies there. There were some questions about some incidents that may have occurred in and around the city. It turned out one of them actually wasn't in the city. Another one didn't involve our employees. So it was good to be able to clarify that with the community members that were present.
Great. Well, thank you for that. And I know under new business, we have a couple of items that you guys have also been working on in the last month. And so I think that they kind of join together. And so maybe we could just transition to that. I don't know if we have any unfinished business at this point, but I think maybe the first one, we can talk about, and I don't know if Deputy Chief Bonds, you want to take the lead on this one, or the chief, but one of the things that we really have talked about a lot during our commission meetings have been the ability to try to get more people to take the police officer civil service exam, whether it's for the bilingual officer or the more traditional police officer exam that's given. And we really haven't seen the amount of diversity that we would like to see. We haven't seen the local applicants that we would like to see that have roots here in Kingston. And so I think you've heard that from all of us many times, and from the folks that you've met with at your community meetings. And so you've put together something that I think is going to help address those needs. And so do you want to give an overview to the Police Commission about what you're considering and what we're looking to do this upcoming spring and summer?
Absolutely. I'll jump in, sir. What we're hoping to do is put together for lack of a better phrase, we're calling it a Police Officer Preparation Academy, or Prep Academy, kind of modeled after what we've done in the past with the Citizen Academy, but more directly focused on preparing potential police officer candidates for hiring, for an understanding of the process, for the physical fitness aspect, and the written exam part of the process. So what we're looking at doing is it's 7 weeks, but it's stretched out over 14. We're looking to meet every other week on Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Using the classroom we have for us up at the Police Academy building at the SUNY Ulster Kingston site. Part of the idea is that the Police Academy that's in session now will be in session on Saturdays so that the potential applicants can kind of see that environment, bump elbows with the people that are in the academy, have some conversation with people in their age group that can give them, a look at what it takes to become a police officer and to connect with that age group a little bit better than we would. So we're going to hold it up there. We're going to open the program with kind of an overview of what it takes to become a police officer, New York State Civil Service, physical fitness testing, written tests, all of the aspects of that, the Professional Policing Act. I'm going to have spoke with Jackie DeSico from Civil Service. She's going to come and answer any questions they may have about civil service testing. And we're going to give them kind of an overview of that process. And then we're going to leave there and head up to the stadium and put everybody through a physical agility exam, the same one that they take to get hired, so that we have kind of a screening and we know where the applicants are at that point. Then over the course of the next 6 meetings, we're essentially going to go over physical fitness and wellness. We're going to run physical agility sessions to prepare them for the physical exam. And we're going to break down the written portion of the civil service exam. It's the state breaks it down into 7 parts, things like language fluency, logical sequencing, things like that. And every week we're going to tackle 2 of those test topics, explain the how and why, and give them some sample tests to do. And then we'll spend a little while at the classroom doing that. And then we'll go up to the stadium and run a physical agility session after. Kind of at the same time to improve our recruitment here specifically for Kingston Police. Every week, we're going to open the session with a 10 or 15 minute kind of inside look at the police department and have somebody from the police department come down and present on a different aspect of what we do, whether it's emergency dispatch or accident reconstruction or emergency services or SIU or, just a real small glimpse into all the things that Kingston Police offers. And while we're doing that, at the midway point, we'll run another PT test. And then all of this will culminate on the final week, which will be July 30th. With a mock written exam. We'll have them come in and take the exam in the fashion that they will the day they take the written exam, spaced out in the classroom with the timer, the pencils, the real feel of the written exam. And then we'll follow that up with an actual physical agility exam, the same way it's administered for hiring purposes. And if we time this all right, about 2 weeks after the final session of our prep academy will be the actual physical agility exam for Kingston Police Department. So that would kind of be our unofficial 8th week that we'll be preparing them right up through the process. And one of the things we also want to do during this process, and I've got a number of volunteers already, is want to include a lot of those young officers that have been hired in the last 2 years to participate in this program, so that when our applicants are coming in and they have questions about Kingston Police and they want to know what the job is really like, they're talking to their peers, they're talking to people from their age group, and I think they'll connect with them a lot better than people like the chief and I will. We can certainly answer a lot of questions, but I think having that younger sampling of people there will be a good help to bring in new people. And at the same time, we've met with our new officers, the last, I think, 18 that were hired in the last year or so, and kind of challenge them with word of mouth recruitment to say, you're looking to spend the next 20 or 30 years working here. Go out and recruit people that are a good fit that you want to spend the next 20 or 30 years working with. There's a lot of research showing that word of mouth is really the best recruitment tool that we have available to us. Some of those more traditional things like, ads in the newspaper, that really doesn't speak to this age group the way that social media and word of mouth will. So we're going to focus on that. And kind of along those same lines, met with the staff at SUNY Ulster Criminal Justice Department last week. Professor Truitt and Professor Gasparini, both supportive of what we're doing, and they're going to help out in any way that they can. And I'm sure we'll have some support from the local agencies as well. A lot of these candidates that are going to be taking this and preparing, the hope is that we'll see them coming into the police academy program as well. So even if they take our test and we can't reach them on that first wave, the 90s and 95s, they'll be on our list, they'll be prepared, and hopefully some of them will put themselves into the police academy to better prepare themselves when we do reach the segment of the list that they might be on. Sorry, that was a lot.
It's important to note that I think we're the only agency, at least in Ulster County, that it's going to be holding the physical fitness portion first before the written exam. So I think that's what's kind of expediting our need to make sure the candidates are physically ready as well. It does offer the ability to actually talk to the young folks, as Mike pointed out at the community meeting. What was it again that you said they don't want to talk to?
They don't want to talk to balding old fat guys.
And I think one of the things that, you know, I want to mention is that, you may have said it, but I just want to even be more clear, is that this is going to be offered free of charge to participants. And we're also going to waive their testing application fee to be able to really remove any barriers to taking the test. And we're going to be prioritizing Kingston residents. You know, we are partnering with SUNY Ulster to be able to do this. And so, you know, we are, you know, if someone from, you know, Esopus or Ulster, you know, wants to join, you know, we can't say no, but we're at this point really prioritizing Kingston residents. You'll see that in our brochure. You'll see that, you know, and what really we're going to try to do, if this sounds good to the commission, you know, we're going to publicly roll this out, not only in kind of like the press, but in our newsletter, but also be reaching out to ask all of you, as well as all of our council members in each of the 9 wards, to really be able to get this into the hands of residents, especially in that, you know, 21-year-old to 25-year-old range, for, you know, folks to be able to kind of create a new path for their life. And so that's really what we're focused on. And again, I think we can do this. And I think that this will help with our future, you know, test, you know, kind of lists that we all have to choose from. And again, I think that this is going to help us get the diversity that we're looking for.
Is there a limit to how many people could participate?
What we're looking at right now is about 30, based on, and that's really just based on the facility size in the classroom. If we get an overwhelming response that exceeds that, you know, then we can look to maybe getting a different facility, or look to maybe offering, you know, split sessions or something like that. But the hope is 30 with, as the mayor said, priority given to City of Kingston residents.
And I wonder if we could, if you're looking for bilingual and minority candidates, if we can make sure we mandate, you know, we hold slots open to that segment of the community.
Yes,
for those skills.
Absolutely. And that'll also be, you know, part of the idea of bringing in our new officers. We've brought in a more diverse group of officers in the last few years than historically we have. So making sure that they are, you know, a part of this process and they're there available to our candidates to, you know, to have discussions with and to help, you know, help bring them along into the process.
Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, recruiting's a challenge, just to emphasize. I mean, we came up with this plan because we're falling short, you know, and what's the term you use, Mike? Fishing from the same pool, you know?
All fishing from the same pool. Yeah, I'm serving on a committee right now at the Ulster County Chiefs Association regarding specifically recruitment and retention, because we are all facing the same kind of deficit. We are truly all fishing from the same pool.
I think it's a great plan, and I applaud you guys for the efforts. Keep trying. It's great.
We're really, it's really twofold. One, recruitment effort in the community, and two, internally developing a sense of pride within our own agency that they can go out now instead of hearing from just Mike and I or all of us, from the officers themselves, you know. So I think it's going to play a big role.
Yeah, I can help you with the Latino churches because I know Pastor Salazar and Angel, the one up there by the underpass. And, you know, Rita is a minister at New Progressive. Then we have Doris Edwards from Riverview as far as the Black community. You know. Yeah,
we actually plan on scheduling officers. If we know that there's an event, whether it's a church, a community organization, whatever, we can send the officers there to promote this type of test prep academy that we're going to be holding. So you just let us know, Commissioner, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Well, June 18th is going to be another community day, the thing Better Together, community and police. It's going to be at Forsyth Park this time. We're going to try moving it around a little bit, you know. So, I mean, if you guys want to set up a table with the flyers or whatever you got so people can get it, you know, take it home, word of mouth. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, great. So you're going to see us getting this out to as many people as we can in the next day or so. I know I'll have the chief and deputy chief work with Summer, our communications director, to get this out to everybody. So, Thanks again for that. One of the other issues that we had on new business that I want to just kind of give everyone an update on is that we have had a chance to do a little bit of work on looking at some of our commission policies and guidelines related to reporting, as we have looked at use of force, as well as complaint reporting. We as a commission a few years ago now adopted some updated policies related to that, as well as related to the appointment process that we've gone through to appoint new commissioners. And lots have changed at the state level. We were one of the first groups to be able to implement this kind of guidelines, but so has the state since then. And some of them kind of override some of the things that we have in our own kind of police kind of manual, if you will. And so we have highlighted some of those areas and have now shared that with our corporation counsel's office to really kind of help do a deeper dive with us to kind of review our policies and procedures related to all of that. And so once we get back those comments, we'll definitely share those with all of the commissioners, and then we can kind of help look at what may need to change with some of those policies. There's some are just simple typos, others refer to things that don't exist, like the office of the police commission. We don't have an office and things like that. And so we're going to be looking to make kind of just some updates and amendments. And so as we have some draft language, we'll definitely be sure to share it with everyone. And, it will hopefully be on our next, you will have something to review by our next commission meeting, at least our next regularly scheduled monthly police commission meeting, which would be in April. So that's our hope. And I just kind of wanted to give everyone an update on where we are with that. And so that was the only other thing that I had on new business. Does anyone else have any other items for new business that we missed or at this point? Hearing nothing else, the last things that we had on our agenda today is that we do have executive session to review the last month's use of force and any complaints that we received. And then we will, at this point, have a special meeting, which I believe is already on the city website next week to be able to do additional hiring promotions for both lieutenant and sergeant. And so I believe that that's on our calendar with the governor's executive order for remote meetings actually expiring today. We have not yet seen any renewal of that. There's still a few hours left in the day, so we're trying to hedge our bets to see which way it's going to go. But we will be sending out some guidance to all of us, and we'll let you know whether the meeting will be in person next week. I would expect that it most likely will be in person next week. And so just to kind of plan accordingly, you will still, and we'll kind of send any guidance. We still will, again, we'll keep you updated if anything changes today. But that seems like that is the way it's heading for now. So that was my last update before I asked for a motion to go into executive session. Does anyone have any questions before we do that? And if not, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
All right. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. So we're going to I actually think, are we able to just stay here, Chief, and then just pause the recording and the live stream, and then restart it
That's a
when
good
we're ready?
question.
I think you just may have to make sure that there's nobody. I'm not sure if there's anyone else on or not with us as
There is one
participants.
attendee. There is one
Yeah.
attendee. I can stop the recording and I guess essentially remove.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to catch this remaining on our YouTube channel when we're done.
Yeah, I don't think Summer sent us a separate invite, so we
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Most folks have been staying in the meetings now that we're in the webinar format, and they've just been removing the attendee. for now. Yeah.
So the attendee will be gone. And I'll stop the recording. And the live stream.